This hadith, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, actions are based off intention. It's such a common hadith. We've heard it being quoted maybe, if not every khutbah, every other khutbah. But we forget to realize how practical the hadith actually is. It's so practical. Now imagine Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, who's traveling through 8 to 9 different countries, going door to door, alone, hasn't been close to his mother for years and years and years, and he has to compile 6,000-7,000 hadith. Imagine what kind of journey that was. That was a tough journey. No flyers, no name, it's an unknown person, starts somewhere from what was known as the Greater Russia. He starts from Bukhara, and he's this random person, not even Arabian in native language. He just has a goal. He wants to do something. No one's ever done what he's done before, and he's thinking that it's possible, it's doable. If I try, I can do it. And he's going around, and people think this guy's crazy. The people from the other Muslim lands were jealous of him. That what does this guy think he's doing? And they tried to trick him and mock him. And he faced many challenges, but he kept going and going and going. And it's said regarding him that before every hadith he wrote down in his book, he would do ghusl, he would take a shower, he would pray 2 rak'ah, and then he would make dua to Allah that, "Oh Allah, accept this hadith from me," and then he would write it down. For 6,000 hadith he did this. Not 6,000 exactly, between 6,000 to 7,000 hadith. So you think to yourself, how did he do it? Impossible. Putting camps together is a joke. That's a minor, man. It's nothing. And getting on a few phone conferences and taking a few videos here and there, and serving a few meals. This is Imam Bukhari traveling on animal, single. He doesn't have any, no debit card, no credit card, no wired money to him. He's just going. He's saying, "Oh Allah, this is for you." I mean, it's kind of like a surfer. He's just in the middle of the waves, and he's surfing on his board, and he doesn't know what's going to happen, if he's going to fall or not, and he's just going. And unless you've been there, you'll never know what it is. I traveled for 15 years of my life without my parents, and I'm telling you, there are subtleties. There are certain things that you go through that a person who's never traveled for Deen will never ever know what it is. When you're at home and you get a fever, it's painful. Fever is always painful, but there's comfort. You have a nice bed, beautiful blanket, nice heated room. Your meals are served to your bed. Your mother is there to hug you every so often, asks, "Is everything okay?" Come and serve your pills to you. But then what happens is that when you're alone and you don't have your parents with you, you realize that you want that blanket over you. You got to pull it over yourself. You want this room to be warm. You got to get up and go close that door. If you want to feed yourself, you have to go feed yourself. You want medication? Get up with your fever, go to the store, buy the medicine, and put it on your mouth. No one's going to come and give it to you, right? So Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, you can only imagine what he went through. But then you ask yourself, how did he do it? And what Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi did was that he did something. Before he started the journey, he wrote down the first hadith in Sahih Bukhari, which was إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, that my actions are based off my intentions. And the only way my actions can have istiqamah, and they could be continuous, the only way my actions could be accepted by Allah is if I am sincere. Otherwise, if you're not sincere, your action starts and it ends quick. This is the scholars have written this. Is that a sign of lack of sincerity is that your effort starts and it ends. There's no continuity to your effort. You understand? You get involved with something and you're gone. You get involved with something and you're gone. You get involved with something and you're gone. It's a lack of sincerity, possibly, and it's also a lack of stability. You're not sure what you're doing. And a great sign of sincerity is that you start something and you don't stop it. The reason why most people end up dropping out of efforts they're doing is because sometimes it's because it's genuinely they feel that that's not what they were made for, something else they wanted to do. They're still searching. That's one way. But for a lot of other people, it's because of difficulties, challenges. Oh, it's too much traveling, and the food isn't good, and I don't get to rest properly, and I have to go through all these meetings, and I get a lot of feedback, and it's not good feedback. And we hear so much from people that it waters us out and it drains us out. But that's where إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ actually kicks in. That if you're doing it for them, if you're going to get turned off because of them, then why are you doing it in the first place? Who told you to do it then? If we think Allah needs our actions, then that's a big mistake on our side. But if we continue to do it, even though they have everything to say against us, then what we're actually stating is that, oh Allah, this is my sincerity. That I was doing it for you, now I'm still going to do it for you, because even if people have stuff to say, I'm still going to do it. Or if difficulties are going to come up, I'm still going to do it. You know, and that's where the balance comes in. The Prophet ﷺ, the most unique thing about the story of Taif, for me, obviously the Prophet ﷺ going through all the difficulty and being tortured because he was calling towards one Allah and being soaked in his blood, that's a unique aspect of the story. But for me, the greatest part of the story is at the end of the story, when the story wraps up. His son Zayd bin Haritha, he lowers, not his son but his adopted son, Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu anh, he lowers the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam down against the boulder, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says to Zayd bin Haritha, I need a little space. Zayd bin Haritha steps back, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has just gone through a very rough day. You know, what we would call a rough day is nothing compared to this day. It was a very, very, very tough day. It was a tough day on another level, right? And the Prophet ﷺ raises his hands and he makes the most beautiful dua. And what is the dua? He says, you know, إِلَّمْ تَكُنْ بِكَ عَلَيَّ غَضْبَانْ فَلَا أُبَالِي إِلَّمْ تَكُنْ بِكَ عَلَيَّ غَضْبَانْ فَلَا أُبَالِي. Oh Allah, as long as you're not angry with me, I'm ready to do it again. As long as you're not angry with me. These guys thought they could turn me off by pressuring me. They actually have no idea what kind of material I'm actually made of. They have no idea the sincerity that lies in this heart. If they think they can turn me off just by throwing stones at me, it's going to take a lot more than that. Going, you're not going to turn on Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam like that. It's not going to happen like that. And I'm made of something different, because he was made of what we call 21 karat gold ikhlas. This is the top of the range. It doesn't get better than this. His ikhlas, it doesn't get better than that ikhlas. And another manifestation of the ikhlas, of the sincerity of innamal a'malu binniyat in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life, is where he told his uncle Abu Talib, place the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left hand. I'm not stopping until I fall dead. I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going. You know, you guys can do whatever you want to. You're with me or you're without me, I'm still going. The train isn't going to stop for anyone. This is not like a boy camp or some kind of chill club or something where we get together and we become groupie and then we move ahead. That's not how khidmat of the deen works. It's either you're with us, and if you don't want to come, you know, bi Allah, bismillah, do whatever you wish. Allah give barakah in your life. I'm still gonna go. We're not stopping for anyone. This deen isn't dependent on people. It's never needed people. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks for is sincerity. So that's that hadith, innamal a'malu binniyat. We hear it so often, but we don't understand what it actually means. And when we ponder over it, then we'll realize that the beginning and end of our journey of serving people is innamal a'malu binniyat. That's where it begins, that's where it ends. When you start your day off, you ask yourself, innamal a'malu binniyat. And when you go to sleep, you ask yourself that same question, innamal a'malu binniyat. So why am I doing it? If my intentions are right, then it's worth it. If the intentions aren't right, I need to fix my intentions. So that's the advice that I would give to the volunteers of any organization, any khidmah effort, that, you know, be sincere throughout. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept from you, inshaAllah aziz. سبحان الله بحمده سبحانك الله وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك آخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.